So we looked at George, and because In the Mood was his wedding song, we felt that that would be a good place to begin with him. And as we played that, one of the things we might, well, there are a couple of ways we could go. Either gentle swaying during the music without any kind of verbal communication, or inviting him to sing In the Mood every time it came up. And then we would follow that with a discussion that would begin with, have you ever heard this song before? And as a yes or no. And then where? Um, do you have a special memory of the song? And hopefully that would open him up to talking about his family. And if it was mentioned in our group, because it was his wedding song, he might get emotional. We would need to make sure we validated that and tried to use that as a way of getting him to open up even more.
Yeah, we were mid-discussion. We probably could have gone on for about an hour. It was interesting. Sarah, her kind of sweet spot would be the 1960s. We know that she's a big band fan. We know that she loved the Dean Martin show. And we were thinking that, there were some options there. For instance, Neil Diamond, which, Sweet Caroline, great song, great beat, but no indication that that was something that was an artist or a song that resonated with her. So we picked "Everybody Loves Somebody Sometimes" by Dean Martin. It had, while it starts a little slow, it picks up a nice tempo and a nice beat. We know that she likes to dance, although she walks with a walker. So we thought that there would be a good beat there. It'd be a good opportunity for motion with her. Our discussion didn't get far enough into more sort of discussion points that we would have with her, but more just the selection of the music, the era, and sort of the movement, not too great a tempo, but not too slow a tempo that would be appropriate for her.
We did talk about the Neil Diamond example because we were all familiar with that. We thought, oh yeah, Sweet Caroline, we know it. We could sing to it. We could dance to it. She loves to dance. This is perfect. And then we remembered that actually listed in her preferential music wasn't Neil Diamond. And it didn't mean that she wouldn't know that song and she wouldn't also dance and sing along, but that wasn't her preferential music. And so we started focusing on what she enjoyed doing activity-wise, the dancing, and then put our own, what we would like to dance to perhaps, versus starting with the music and starting with her preferential music and then coming up with an activity after that. So.
Hi. So our person is Sarah, and we found, well, what we know about Sarah is that she's bubbly, she's energetic, and she still likes to dance at 74. And hopefully that's well be 74, still liking to dance. And we looked at several different songs, but as we were in our discussion, we're talking about Ella and Tony Bennett and Nat King Cole. They are more in the jazz genre. So we focused on Doris Day and picked the song Que Sera Sera. We picked that song because we wanted to involve bring in the movement rhythm method for her. It says that she uses a walker. So how she would be able to do that would be provide a chair dance activity for her, using scarves to help with the facilitation of the movement. And she'd be able to, use them in her hands and bring them up over her head, make swirls, all while having fun.
Got nominated. We have Linda, who was 63, and so we came up with the 70s generational playlist, looking at what she liked. She liked Broadway shows and live concerts, and kind of going through her list of artists. We came up with the Don't Go Breaking My Heart by Elton John. It's kind of a fast moving song with strong beat. So we thought that lended itself well to movement. So we didn't specify exactly what movement. But we also then had a discussion afterwards to find out, did she ever see Elton in concert, and see what that might lead to more discussion or other Elton songs that she might like. We also talked about the fact that that is kind of a fast song, and depending on what mood she was in, we might have an alternate plan. And we went with Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, because it's a much slower song, kind of a different mood setting. So we thought we might judge her mood and decide which kind of made the most sense. And that one, again, sing along, and we liked the discussion afterwards about whether she had seen Dolly Parton, gone to a concert, other Dolly Parton songs she might like. So that
was great. I'm just going to add one thing. Part of the reason there was discussion for Don't Go Breaking My Heart to go discussion or movement, and they were both great options. I loved the way that Patty recommended, noting that Linda has Parkinson's, and sometimes movement can be, therapeutic for some, difficult, but also therapeutic for someone with Parkinson's. So that was also a great consideration when trying to figure out what type of movement activity you would do. So, and I really personally loved the idea about having a backup plan based on what might resonate with someone on one day and not another, or based on their mood.
Okay, since she likes live concerts, we decided to do movement as well, because she has Parkinson's and like you said, therapeutic. We chose Don't Go Breaking Your Heart. For like the main part of the song, we decided to let her warm up and like do her own movement, and we would mimic her movement. And then once the chorus came on, we started to talk about how we were gonna tap our feet. Start with tapping our feet, then patting our legs, and then moving up to our arms, and then the Don't Go Breaking Our Heart, start patting our heart. And then she likes Elton John too, so that's another reason why we picked that song. We also went and said the I Will Always Love You too. So we were piggybacking off each other.
We just know what Linda likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had another one of our volunteers in our group too, and I'm so glad that we had somebody like Donica here, because you have worked with a person, at least, with Parkinson's. So what was one of the things that I think Donna had asked, so what would you recommend, specifically with like arms going above the head? It's not always.
Yeah, she was asking about the arms. If how do they do with like raising their arms with Parkinson's? And it depends. I said it depends on the stage that they are with their Parkinson's. But the person I worked with, they were like closer to the end, like, so the furthest they could go is like midway. Once they started reaching all the way up, that's when they really started shaking. So that's why we decided to stay right here and then go straight to your heart.
Yeah.
And I just, want to add in, I think Meredith's point was really wonderful yesterday. It's not an exact science, right? This is a starting point. So you want to make sure that you are using Meredith's suggestion to track strong responses to songs, because you might pick, for Linda, we might have picked Don't Go Breaking My Heart, and that might not really resonate with Linda, even though we think it will. So you might start to track and notice, what songs people resonate with, so that you can go back to those activities and songs and introduce them more often and in your care of those individuals. So
maybe Allegra, if you could, I'm thinking back to Glenn's initial question early on about just the taking it to the beginning and the benefits of listening to music?
Everybody is 100% correct. You're listening to this music, that in and of itself is going to be beneficial, especially if it's purposeful listening, if it's active listening versus passive listening. So we can have the radio on in the background all the time, but it's not going to do as much as we're sitting down and we're listening to Que Sera Sera together. So that in and of itself is something to consider. But then of course, there's going to be more benefit the more that you can do and engage the individual while you're listening to the music. So that can include singing, and then afterwards include the discussion like we've discussed. That can include movement or instrument play. All of these other things that can help supplement that experience is going to be more beneficial, but at a basic level, yes, it's going to be beneficial to just engage and listen to that music together, especially if it's an active listening experience. And I want to mention the last group that Deborah talked about, we had the same person and they picked a song that was outside of the 60s, which is what we had focused on for her being 18 to 25. But that is such a great choice based on her preferences. So just in general, they took, oh, these are the artists that she enjoys. We're going to choose this song because of that. And that's such a great example of there's so many songs to choose from. And especially for Sarah, she didn't have cognitive decline that was mentioned. So she's going to be able to, you know, connect with those songs from different decades. Probably that was a decade that her parents might have been listening to this, you know, so that's perfect and bringing it all together on that front. And then also Meredith mentioned yesterday, for anyone, even someone with cognitive decline, introducing them to new music is not bad too. So there's all sorts of opportunity there.